Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Growing Wild Farm and Garden, where it's been a long time since I've made any videos. But it's raining outside. It's really cool today. I think it's May 22nd, and it's like in the 60s, and it's raining, and I'm kind of cold sitting here actually. But I wanted to get back into gardening. It's been a minute since I was even gardening. And I'm not going to go into like all the details about that or anything, like that's not needed. But just, depression happens and I lost motivation to do anything. And God, it was just a really weird year. I'm probably sure that many of you can actually agree. It was just a weird year. But I wanted to get back and let you know what we've been doing this year, which is still sort of minimal. It's definitely not as ambitious as some of the previous years that you guys were with me. But that said, let's get into it. Let's look at things. Let's talk about them because it's cold and raining and I don't know if I want to go show you the whole garden right now. But okay, so we started corn from seed. My husband was dead set on trying to get as much corn as we possibly could. I don't know why. I overseeded the crap out of the corn patch this year. I think I put in 5 seeds per hole, and it's still the same space that we used for it the last time that we grew corn. But we tilled in the horse manure that was there, and so everything's really just aged and everything. I tried to tell my husband he didn't need to till it because I wasn't going to disturb the soil. I was trying to build the soil, but that's okay. He did it, and we just have to go with it, so we will. I ended up with a lot of corn plants that came up, like almost 100% germination. I would say a good 85% of those seeds germinated, and I had to go through and thin out those babies because 5 is a lot. Took what was left, because my husband was so intent on this, and put it in the barrels that we were gonna use for like our seed starting or cool crops that I may have talked about in the last video that I did. We did move those barrels. We did have 2 rows of those barrels right in front of the bees, but we did not use them for seed starting. Nope, this year instead we were actually moving those barrels away because it's just taking up too much space in front of the bees, which I guess I'm going to show you real quick because why just talk about it, even though it's raining. So, you can see where the grass still hasn't grown up. But we put corn there. And I still had corn plants left over even after I planted that. So let's look at other stuff since I'm out here in the rain. Might as well, right? So there's the bees. They are inside because of the rain, but they've been doing pretty crazy. I haven't been getting into them as much as I need to. There's our corn. There's 4 to 5 plants in each of those, which may or may not actually go very well. And all right, we're trying something new with the tomatoes, with the string method. I don't know if it's gonna work out. I went ahead and put my cagey stuff around it just in case. This is gonna be a pineapple tomato. This, we put a bed frame post to actually give this one more space. And of course I still had, the cages were there first. I had that set up first until my husband's like, hey, I have this idea. Go figure. Another pineapple tomato, again with the bed frame and the jute string. We've got our blackberries that sort of volunteered themselves because I couldn't dig them all up, and I tried transplanting them and that didn't go well, but luckily some of these you know, roots were still in the ground and I was able to do something. So it's kind of a good thing that I failed. Let's look at the other stuff. These are beans that, again, they've volunteered themselves. They were in the ground somewhere on this, you know, in the dirt, and I just picked them up and I transplanted them into the garden because I wanted green beans. And I just, you know, the lack of motivation of actually starting seeds myself. More beans. More beans. But we also modified our trellis a little bit this year. Let me show that to you. Okay. So this pole right here wasn't there before. The trellis used to actually meet the drums, but now it doesn't. It's a good foot, 8 inches to a foot up, and then goes much taller than it did before. My husband's idea was that these parts of these posts, we could actually put more wire across and sort of have the beans arch over there. I'm not sure how I feel about that idea, really. I mean, they grow crazy, but with as many as I didn't plant this year, I don't know how it'll go. So, but that was his thought process, maybe even putting more wire over the top so that they can, you know, go over it. But again, a lot of this stuff is just going to be what's working, what's just, I'm not putting a whole lot into it because I just want to get back into the garden and I don't want to focus so hard on the mechanics as much as I want to focus on the joy. I need my joy back. That's what I need. So let me show you the other stuff we've got going. There's another little tomato. It's strung up. It's got a lot more room. And, oh no. This one pulled itself right out. Shoot, I'm gonna have to save this one. All right, hang on. Okay, so it still looks like it's in good health. It's not wilty. Luckily, it's raining today, so the heat didn't get to it, and I bet I can put this into the water and it'll root for me. So I'm going to do that, but I'm going to finish showing you around real quick and then probably go inside because it's starting to rain a little harder. All right, looking again. This is red Malabar spinach that I've got started in here. Ignore the mulberries coming from the tree. But it's got plenty of trellis here to go ahead and go up. I've never grown this before, but I'm hoping it'll do well for a spinach substitute. It's not something we've ever tried before, but I know my husband and my kid do enjoy spinach in their smoothies. And I think it would be good to get into our diet. So, all right, let's look at our sweet potato slips. So I've got these guys, and I had 1 and 2, but some army worms I think have come in and killed them off or something, but I've got more. So I can actually show you those too. And then I guess just look at the corn patch again and a couple other tomatoes. So these are right there and there. Same system. We're gonna just try to tie them up with string and see how that goes. And now, let me get back under the awning. Okay, so we'll look at the corn and then the strawberries. That's the only other kind of new thing that we did. So there's our corn patch again. Looking big and tall. And I can't remember when I started the seeds, but I have noticed that half of them grow really good and tall and strong, and then the other half aren't as tall. It's really weird because I started them at the exact same time, but you can tell a huge difference in size between one half of them, which is so weird to me. I don't know, other than because the yard slopes the way it does, water stands over there more, and I haven't looked to see if corn dislikes that, but I'm assuming it probably does because of the way it's growing. Here, I'll show you. If you didn't notice, that's the half that I'm talking about. You can see how it's so much shorter than this. They were both planted at the same time, so I don't know. very confusing about that, actually. But, okay, so now we'll look at the strawberries, because I'm trying to get a good strawberry patch going. It's something that I really want is berries. I want blueberries. We've got the blackberries, and I want strawberries. I would love to be able to make jam and just have berries to eat. Like, it sounds amazing. I would love to do this. The mulberries did not turn out very well for jelly or anything, and that kind of bummed me out because that tree is magnificent. It is a big tree. It puts off lots of berries. But yeah, let's look at the strawberries real quick. Okay, so we've got this one, these two, and these. These are older than these other guys. And then you'll see these empty cups here, there, and there, because I bought 20 bare root plants, and I've never bought bare root plants before. I don't know what I did necessarily wrong, but it is what it is. And so I put them each in their own individual cup underneath my grow light inside, and waited for them to grow. There were more of them seemed viable than what I got. I ended up with two. I tried to buy 2 varieties, 10 of each, and I got 2 plants out of both varieties out of 10. That's a 20%. That sucked. That sucked. But oh well, it's a learning experience. I may not do bare root strawberries again. I don't know. I mean, I know 2 is still enough to get me a patch eventually, but I bought 2 June bearing and an ever bearing, I believe. So I've got the Quinault, I think is how it's, or Quinault, I'm not sure how it's pronounced. A Chandler, and then Ozark Beauty. Ozark Beauty is the big one, because I bought that much earlier in the season. Because my strawberries died. And that's okay. I had that patch for I had a couple plants for a really long time, and they just weren't doing that well. And I decided this year was going to be a good year to just try strawberries and see if I can't do better. So that's one of the things that we've got going on this year. Whew, I've got rain all over my glasses. But yeah, so, I mean, really, that's all I've got going on this year. We still have the bees. We have lots growing, even though it's maybe not as ambitious as I've had in the past. If you've watched any of the last videos, you'll know that the garden has changed a little bit. We've removed some of the drums, the barrels, made it a little smaller because we now know sort of what we want to grow. And even though we need the space, unfortunately, the 2 trees right there and there are shading the crap out of this back area, and pretty much from here all the way across. So it's also limiting what I can grow, or at least how well that thing will grow. And so we're having to rethink too. So that's it for now. I'm hoping this is a relatively short-ish video for you guys, a good update, way for me to say hi again, and hopefully we can all get back into this together, because I loved it, and I loved sharing this with you and hearing from you guys, and I love gardening. So let's all get back into it, right? Let's all do this. But for now, I hope to see you back for another episode later, and I hope you guys all have a really great weekend. We'll see you next time. Bye.